Hey guys, Dr. Snellgrove here, just recording a quick video to introduce our fourth and final essay for integrated reading and writing. And I'm going to be honest, I actually struggled with whether or not to record a video for this one because at least compared to some of the essays you've done before, this is probably one of your most straightforward. For better or for worse, you don't have to pick a prompt, like you did with the argumentative essay. We've given you the prompt, which is just for you to answer, hey, do you think social media is ultimately good or bad for society? And I guess cards on the table, the main reason I wanted to do this, I wanted you to have a very straightforward, last regular essay. I didn't want to give you any weird curveballs or anything like that. But just over the years, with like my 1101 classes, I, for example, let students just pick their topics for every single essay. And I've been amazed at the number of students that want to write about whether social media is good or bad. Like even in essays where that doesn't really, it doesn't fit the prompt I have given them, they still really want to talk about it. And I'm kind of fascinated by it because I'll be honest, as an old, I would think, people would be fighting like, no, we shouldn't restrict access to social media, but I'll have like, CHS or dual enrollment students that are like 16, like, no, nobody should be able to register for social media until they're at least 18. I'm like, fascinating. You are basically calling for government regulation of yourself. Don't see that too often, especially among young people. So I feel like it's a topic that's got legs. More importantly, I feel like it's a topic where everybody's got something to say. And I do want to let you know, this has been the case for, pretty much all of our argumentative essays, such as your argumentative essay, essay 3, but you're not being graded on whether or not you pick the correct answer. There is no correct answer. I'm literally, just you saying social media, some variation of social media is ultimately good for society or social media is ultimately bad for society. That is your thesis. And then the rest of the essay, you got to have at least 3 paragraphs, as always, where you're backing that up. So if I say ultimately social media, is good for society, or maybe I'll say social media does more good than bad. But all right, I got to imagine, as always, I have an audience. They're on the fence, they're undecided, they could go either way. What kind of arguments am I going to lay out in order to convince these folks that no, actually, social media is pretty good? Conversely, though, maybe you're going to make an argument like ultimately social media is bad for society. Same deal. Imagine you got someone on the fence. I don't know about that. So you got to lay all of these arguments out in order to convince them. So research is completely optional. In this essay, we've already ripped the Band-Aid off our one mandatory research essay. I always encourage you to include research. Same thing I do for my 1101 students. The big word, I don't know if I use this as much when we were talking about essay 3, but it really just helps you quantify information, right? So like, a person arguing that social media is bad for society might say, people have lost their lives due to social media. And, you can say it and it's true and it's scary and kind of persuasive, but another person might spend, 5 minutes doing some research. It's like social media has led to the death of blah, 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 number of people. Citation. Like, whoa, that is almost always more convincing on a few levels. You've given a specific number, helps people kind of wrap their minds around it. And the citation, as we talked briefly about before, that's basically your ethos. That's your don't take my word for it. Here's what these reputable sources have to say on the topic. But anyway, that's pretty much it. You come up with whether you think it's good or bad, that becomes your thesis, ultimately good or ultimately bad for society. That becomes your thesis. You have at least 3 body paragraphs. I've had to remind a few people of this, like when we do the body paragraph assignments, I only ask you to submit 2, but the final drafts do need to have 3, all of them, including this one. So 3 body paragraphs. That's kind of, y'all know I'm a big boy. I think of things in terms of sandwiches. So we got, intro up at the top, we got a conclusion at the bottom, we got at least 3 body paragraphs in the middle. And the essay due date, I do want to mention this, that like, I've had some gallows humor with some of my face-to-face classes recently about this, where I keep telling them like, I can give you extensions right until I can't. And what I mean by that is, okay, the final essay, well, the final regular essay, we have a little final exam essay, don't worry about it, be easy. But our final regular essay is due on the last minute of the last day. So I literally can't push it further, unfortunately. That's the bad news. The good news, though, is it's not too late to get in any kind of missing work. Maybe you didn't get in some old quiz or daily assignment. You can still get that in with no penalty. Speaking of quizzes, it's not directly related to this essay, but be on lookout for probably a couple more of those at least popping up, and I'll try to get off my butt and grade the ones that you got. All right. By the time this video is up, the outline assignment should be live. As always, if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to email me. Feel free to text me, 863-835-2399. Y'all have a good one. Bye.